Welcome to all of you at our Monday Sparkling Conversation. It's so nice to see all of you. Thank you, Paul. One of our facilitators in the Paarl area is our facilitator for the day.
G'day, hi, welcome to everybody. Yes, my topic for today is plan your altitude. And I think some of you might have wondered, what does that mean? Now, John Maxwell, I think in his book Failing Forward, tells us his own experience of his first time that he had flew in a small aeroplane, and he was sitting next to the pilot, and the pilot explained to him what's happening in front of him, all the different instruments panel on an instrument panel. And then he pointed out one of the instruments and he said, that's the most important instrument. That's the altitude meter. And he thought, okay, maybe this guy said something wrong. It must, or he said it's the attitude meter. So he thought, okay, maybe it must be the altitude meter, and he wanted to correct him. And the person said, no, that is the altitude meter. So the altitude meter of the plane actually tells you whether the nose of the airplane is facing downwards or upwards. So the altitude, your altitude determines your attitude determines your altitude. So the attitude meter determines how high the airplane flies. And I'm just taking a little bit of a different angle. Usually when we think about planning, we talk about your to-do list. What do I have to do today? And I plan my week and I plan my day ahead. But what I want to focus on is not so much what you have to do, but how you're going to do it, in the manner in which you're going to do it. So if you can add that to your planning, maybe plan your week and say, link it to one of your values. So, for instance, you're going to plan a meeting that you have to do. Plan how, visualize yourself with one of your values. Say, I'm going to focus, for instance, on listening, being a better listener, or having more empathy. So instead of just planning the meeting and the details of the meeting and how or what you're going to do, your attitude while you're doing this. So I was thinking of an athlete, and maybe the best example would be a long jumper. You always see a long jumper visualizing, preparing themselves mentally before they jump, and their attitude before they jump. Their belief system must be very high, and they actually visualize what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And they even try to get the crowd to sometimes to clap hands and cheer them on to create this atmosphere. So, and I want to maybe suggest one step further. When we plan your week, even just pray about your attitude. What attitude do you want to have? What is your attitude? So when you walk in there, visualize yourself, pray about it, so that maybe next time you've got to do a presentation, be a leader of a meeting or a group. With what attitude are you going to lead this group? Empathy? Are you what value do you want to focus more in your own life? So one question you might ask is, what energy am I going to bring to the room? And I want to read this quote to you. It says, people may hear your words, but they will feel your attitude. Okay. I think that's quite profound. People might hear your words and they might feel but they will feel your attitude. And I think that you can apply it to simple things. You might have to do something like cleaning your home, washing the dishes. So it's not about what you do, is with what attitude. If you do it with a complaining attitude and going through your list and you're tired at the end of the day, it's often just about changing your attitude. And then my next question is, what is the thing that influences our attitude? You guys could think about it. I don't want you to answer the question, what is the thing that influences your attitude? And then I came up, sometimes it's other people that influence our attitude. Many times it's our environment that we find ourselves in that influence our attitude. And sometimes the media. But if we allow the environment and other people in the media to influence our attitude, then we're going to be tossed and thrown. And we won't be very stable, because it will be dependent on what's happening around you and what you hear and what you see. So my suggestion is that you focus on your own belief system. What do you believe? And then that will be your anchor. with what attitude you're going to enter in. So I want to make a next statement that if you carry on doing things the same way that you've done it always, with the same attitude, then you're going to get the same results. And we people of habit, our brains are habit. You're going to walk in the meeting and you're going to handle that meeting exactly the same way you did it last week. Unless you plan your attitude and you say, I'm going to walk in that meeting and this time I'm going to handle this meeting or this task or this project with a different attitude. And it takes planning to do that and planning your attitude. So to change your environment, you have to think greater than your environment. Okay? If you're in a job situation or working with a team and you're just stuck there and that's all that you see, you need a vision that's greater than your circumstances. Okay? And that's your belief system, telling yourself, I can change this. This circumstances, although it's difficult, and the people I'm working with is difficult, somehow I've got a vision to change the attitude, to change the environment, to make it better. And that can't be dependable on your circumstances or what other people say. So I want to end off with John 14. Jesus 14 verse 1, he said, do not let your heart be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me, or believe also in me. And I think that speaks of attitude. A troubled heart is a certain attitude, or not to be troubled is attitude. You choose which way you want to go. And in John 16, it says, in this world, John 16 verse 33 says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome this world. Okay. So, and again, that speaks of attitude, to take heart or to lose heart. So often we choose which attitude you enter and which attitude you apply to your own life in whatever you do. And then I want to finally end off with this statement that if you can change one thing this week or this day, don't change your hairstyle and don't even grow a beard. Change your attitude. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I'm going to stop the recording now.